Assalamualaikum everyone. I'm Lika, a member of the NISA Helpline team. We would like to thank you for joining us today as we acknowledge Black excellence in the Muslim women community this month. As many of you are aware, we're currently in Black History Month, which occurs in the month of February every year. Black History Month is about honoring the enormous contributions that Black Muslims and just Black people in general the contributions that they have made and continue to make in all sectors of society. It is about celebrating resilience, innovation, and determination to work towards a more inclusive and diverse society. This year, we're acknowledging the future is now, and it is a chance to celebrate and acknowledge the transformative work that Black Canadians and their communities are doing. Today, we're honored to have Sister Mutiat Olaniyan join us and share her inspiring journey into entrepreneurship with us as a Black Muslim widow and mother of four. Mutiat runs a small non-government organization for widows and socially connects with widows via writings on social media platforms like Telegram and Facebook, as well as has her own clothing brand, which is called May 9th. I'd like to just send the space now to Shaliza, our Senior Operations Manager at NISA Helpline.
Jazakallah, Assalamu alaikum, Facebook family, all our online viewers. We are so excited for you to join us tonight. Leka, Mutiat, both here with me. I am always very excited to connect with our viewers. Tonight, inshallah, we are going to be chatting with Mutiat in commemoration and celebration of Black History Month 2021, which is all about the family. The interesting thing about the Black Muslim community and the Muslim community is that Black Muslim women face double up. I always say it's double up, right? You're in hijabs, you're Muslim, and then you're also facing the effects, or really just the good and the challenging of race. And tonight, inshallah, our conversation is about celebration. It's about empowerment. Mutiat, we're gonna talk to you a lot, and we want to really inspire our viewers with your experience. So inshallah, we'll have a really insightful conversation. To our viewers, if you're online, we do monitor the chat, so go ahead and give us a little like. I do like to know if you're here with me, so let us know on the chat as well. We're open for really open conversation tonight, so we're very excited to have all of you. So Mutiat, welcome. Assalamu alaikum. My very first question to you, Leka shared in your introduction that you have a small business, May 9th, and that you ventured onto this as a widow, as a single mother. So I'm gonna, maybe we go back in time a little bit and tell us about the start. Tell us what got you there. Why?
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you so much for having me here. It's my pleasure to be among your sisters and share my story. My name is Mutiat Olaniyan. I'm originally from Nigeria, and I moved to Canada 4 years ago. I moved in here with my husband, with my late husband and my 4 kids. But 9 days to get into Ontario, to Toronto, my husband passed away. He actually died on May 9. So, and I named the brand May 9 because I don't want to forget that day. And we've been married for 11 years before that happened. He had cancer and passed away. So I actually am motivated I got back home. I was a fashion retailer. I used to buy and sell clothes, but I wasn't really too much into the business. So when I got here, we were new immigrants. We were about 2 months when he passed on, and I needed to do something. I was almost getting depressed. Getting into a new country, a totally new country, not having family or friends on ground to support you, and your partner that you came in with now passed on. It's like a double tragedy and challenge for me. And so I've always liked fashion. And I saw that even though we have some modest fashion brands, we don't really have like designers that are Muslims and particularly Black women. and I needed to do something. So my background was in economics. I was thinking, should I go for my PhD in economics? Should I go into healthcare? Should I go into fashion? So I needed to do something that will take me away from my present reality, my present pain, and at the same time empower myself. I don't have to be idle, because I was almost getting depressed at that time. So I needed to engage myself. And fashion is something that's it's so hands-on, and it's kind of like it gives you this I don't know how to put, like a mental feel. Like when you sew, when you design, the creativity takes your mind away from like your present reality sometimes. So I needed to engage myself. That was why I went to school. My husband passed on in May 9, 2017, and few months after then, I registered in George Brown College, and I started George Brown in January of 2018. I was there for almost 2 years, and I graduated in April 2019. So May 9, 2019, I officially started my small business brand, and that's what I've been doing since then, among other things.
So did I get it right that you went back to school and then did the business, but you had some entrepreneur experience from back home? And I feel like I really heard that you channeled all of that into what fuels you, and that was your creative side in fashion. Because when I look at your bio, you can do so many things. Mutiat, you're well educated, mashallah. You can do so many things, but I'm really inspired that you chose to continue on with your true calling, and I'm really I am truly inspired that you were able to identify that at that time and follow through.
Alhamdulillah. So I wasn't a designer back home. I only buy. So I wanted to be a designer. I've always wanted to be.
I understood that. I understood that. I understood that it was there and it was your calling, but you didn't get to explore it, right? Yeah, and I'm really happy that you did. I'll pass it on to Leka. Thanks for sharing that with you.
That's beautiful, actually, mashallah. Again, you kept that passion and you still went on with it. So that is definitely amazing. As you've introduced yourself, you're a single mother, a business owner, and an immigrant. So those are so many hats, mashallah. How did you manage having all of those roles at once, and just kind of going forward with a business and starting everything from there?
Honestly, sometimes I don't even know how I manage everything. But I have a strong support system in terms of my kids. My kids quickly grew up fast. I don't know how. They grew up so fast, so matured. They helped me a lot. I have my brother. My in-laws are very supportive, even though they are not here in Canada with us. And I have a circle of very good friends that I always run to. So I have people that have supported me, that are my friends, people that have come to take as my family here in Canada, that I met them here. And we've established very strong relationship that they help me. So I do that. And ultimately relies on Allah. So yeah, that has kept me on.
That's beautiful, inshallah.
So, we talk a lot, before I ask you the next question, my comment here is about community. I think a lot of times, even when we get the calls into the helpline, we hear so many different women, they're on their own, right? And I think, a lot of times what we also hear is, I'm by myself, I'm here alone, my family's back home. And it's a repeated sort of theme, right? I think the value of community here is that you look to that network, and sometimes that network is going to be your friends that you've had, or it's going to be new friends, it's going to be people, sometimes it's going to be your own family. And when there isn't that family, I think it's, and maybe you can tell me, Mutiat, did you find that you made new friends and you opened up those new relationships, and that community sort of built as you built those relationships? So tell us a little bit about how did you overcome, that I'm here alone, and then find this community of sisters or family that can help you. Like, what was that like for you?
So I have to say that it's very hard, it's very tough to seek help with people, especially when you are here alone. When I came here, like, I basically know maybe just like a couple of people that I know, no
Yeah.
family, no friends. So this is something that will be happening to a lot of sisters. And I am a very shy person actually. So I sometimes I get reluctant in making friends, But again, so after my husband passed on, I really became more connected to Almighty Allah. So I used to pray to Allah alone because here was so new to me. I don't even know what. So I used to pray a lot and Allah should connect me with the right people. So gradually I go for programs reluctantly and then, go for being me, meet this sister, meet that sister, and then we just connect. And alhamdulillah that the people that I met initially are good people because if I've had bad experience, then I would have gone back to my shell, which a lot of people really do. So may Allah reward all the sisters and brothers
I
that
mean,
came out for me, and that is one of the reasons why I also try my best to like help people that have been in my situation. It's very, very, very important. It's very easy to commit suicide or to get depressed when you are going through things alone, and it is not easy to say your story out because you don't even know who the next person is. So I try in my own little way to, like reach out to people and make them come out of their shell and share their story and get comfort and help. We all need it. You can't live alone.
oh yeah, I think the value of community. We know the value of community as Muslims. I think is when we try to live the experiences, it becomes very are somehow in especially I think when you're a new immigrant, right? You're used to a certain form of meeting people. You're used to a certain form of interacting, and then you're like, okay, so I don't know anybody, and everybody isn't my family friend, and I have to go to this conference to meet people. I have to go to this sisters group, and it's a different experience altogether. But like you said, as a new immigrant, and we've all, at one point I had my new immigrant experience as well. And I can say, you're like, well, is this how you meet friends? Is what kind of society is this? Is this how, we hear that in our community often. There's no community in North America, but there is. It's just maybe that our interactions and the way that we interact, the way that we meet and connect are in different social circles. So I that really resonates with me. And if you're listening out there tonight, sisters, and if you're in a similar situation, just keep in mind that the way that you would have met your networks or your friends back home, I'm going to say back home, and then now you're here in North America, you're here in Canada or US, it's different, right? So welcome that as different. But as Mutiat said, she's built her community of friends and her circle and her foundation of support like that. And many of us, we come from shy environments. We didn't really have those big networks, but we're forced to meet different people and new people. But alhamdulillah, it worked out for you, and I'm very grateful to hear that. I'm going to ask you the question that I intended to ask before tell us a little bit about roadblocks. So, I know that there are many, because I can't imagine, you would have accomplished so much, alhamdulillah, without running into some roadblocks. But I think the one I want to hear about is the one that you felt like, oh, I've come through this, I've worked through this, and I've almost overcome it, if not overcome it completely. Tell us a little bit about those roadblocks and what they were.
So there are actually many. You said it. Even as minute as getting grocery was kind of like strange. Being in this environment because it's totally different from what we do. So I've actually faced a lot that now when I look at some other things that I didn't know before, I'm like, oh, so how come I didn't know this? But for example, in business, how we do business here is very different from how we do back home. Very different. You have to register it, know your taxes, do all those things is very hard. And this is not a system that you take your kids to your neighbor's house to stay with them just because. So, at that point when we moved here, my first one was 10, and my last baby was just 2 going to 3. So they were all underage. So grabbing all of them together, going to the grocery, they go to school. We're living in Brampton, and then I have to go to school, come back. It was really tough. So, but we grew through it, and that's why community is also very important. So I faced a lot in business, trying to establish the business here, trying to get things done properly, not just shabbily. So I'm not earning a lot of revenue from my business. It's still a very small business, but trying to put everything together. And more importantly, because this you're doing this all alone, it can be so hard. So even though there is community, you have to respect people. I don't like sticking out to people all the time, even when they want to. So I only do it when I am like I have to do it. I actually prefer people coming out and coming to me, oh, do you want help on this, than me going to meet them. So it's really so hard. So you have to drive. Then getting used to the weather also, it's so, those knowing how to dress, it looks silly now, sort of. It was a challenge for me then. Like I was like, what kind of weather is this? What kind of this weather is just so, and coping with yourself, taking care of yourself, and then taking care of 4 individuals also. They're also new, and they didn't plan to come to this country. They didn't plan for everything that happened. So the challenges of taking care of myself, taking care of my business, now taking care of 4 other individuals. So I don't know how all those worked out.
I'm gonna ask a quick follow-up question before I pass it to Leka. I hear you. I think about myself for a little bit, Mutiat, and alhamdulillah, I raised 3 boys with my husband, and I can't even imagine, one day not having that second person to say, oh, well, you do this, right? Because I'm gonna do this, right? And then you're left with these 4 kids. What I heard you talk about the weather, that's a challenge. And then you have these 4 kids, but like being a single mother, and then going in and finding a source of income. And then I also, interestingly enough, you brought in the weather, which is one of those little things in Canada. You can't ignore it, but it's those little things and those big things. But when I think about it, I think about your mindset and what was really pushing through, whether it was shoveling the snow yourself, because I can imagine that's a tough thing here in Canada. I have to get out, I have to clean the car before I can put the kids in, like that's tough enough. And then I have to run, start the business, which is very small support system. But what really, what I can see already is that you have a strong mindset. So tell me what you tell yourself when you're facing these, whether it's the weather or these 4 children, and sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not. I can tell you that for sure. Or it's finance, or it's you're trying to figure out this form to get for the business, or bringing in your stock, whatever have you. What do you keep? How do you what is that self-talk that you have when you need to overcome and keep pushing through?
So I can't stress this enough, and I always tell people: total reliance on Allah, extreme total reliance on Allah, and praying and giving sadaqah. It works like magic. Okay, so the issue of the shoveling of snow and everything, I moved to Brampton. I didn't know anyone there, nothing. And coincident, when I got there, my neighbors to the left and right were in there. So after a short while, the neighbor to the left came, and they rented the apartment, and where the man was a Nigerian from my home country, and the wife absolutely amazing. To my right, another Black community. Few months after that, adjacent to me, another Nigerian family. So the 2 men, I believe Allah sent them to me. The 2 men take turns in helping me to shovel with my sons. I have 3 boys. So most of the time, I don't even shovel. So early in the morning, I just wake up and I see that my neighbor has helped me to clear my driveway, and I'm so happy. And then there were times when I have to leave home very early to catch up for my 8 o'clock lecture. My neighbor used to take my kids to school, and then they were going to school in like almost 30 minutes drive. So those little helps, really helped me. And I didn't move there because I knew they were there. Allah brought them there for me. So ultimately, I believe so much in the fact that when Allah gives you a trial, it doesn't leave it to it. It brings those help to you, in ways you can imagine. And of course, as a single mom, most times I run out of cash. I really get to like the bottom rock, because I'm someone that likes spending good on my kids. And I know I'm not a lazy person, but sometimes, especially, a small business is like a little additional baby. That's what I tell people. You are spending on the business in the first stage. You're spending heavily and you're not even saying much. So sometimes I run out of cash, and out of the blues, I just get help. So I think Allah does it, and um, yeah, I think so. I don't know what else I have done. I've not done anything magical or spectacular. No, I don't think so. I think it's just reliance on Allah and Allah coming to me to help me through other people, basically.
That's beautiful, mashallah. And I wanted to say actually on the shell part, breaking out of the shell to join a community. I think that's usually, one of maybe the first steps to also break out of the shell and kind of do exceptional, things, just like starting a business and knowing that, when you're able to break out of the shell and just do that one small step, it also builds the bigger steps for you. Um, so it was a beautiful point. Actually, following up on Chile's question, how do you build the walls to excel and grow when society poses so many distractions to try and like hinder you as a Black and as a Muslim woman, with just everything that happens around you?
Focus, focus, and avoiding distractions, working on yourself most importantly. I try to avoid distractions as much as possible. I try to give myself that focus, and I try to do a lot of things. And because I know I'm receiving help from other people, I also try when I see any avenue to volunteer or help other people, I try to do it also because I know I'm also receiving that help from someone. And regarding I don't know if that answers your question. I don't know if I'm like answering that directly.
It certainly does answer the question. We just know there has, as again, as a Black Muslim woman, there certainly were so many things that came your way, and focus is, definitely the way to go.
Focus on yourself. Try to be the best in yourself. Always improve yourself in excellence in everything. The society may be there may be racism, there may be a lot of, but just focus on yourself and just keep going. That's one of the things that I actually believe so much in.
Along tonight, alhamdulillah, thanks for that, Mutiat. We have there's a comment that says, thanks for sharing your story with us, Mutiat. You are a classic case of one who has grit, growth, and resilience, initiative, and tenacity. Mashallah, I read it and I think the exact same thing, because I'm like, what else, you've made it so clear. I kept focus. I kept working. I kept doing towards it, and Allah I kept trust that Allah was going to help me. And then it came, right? And it sounds really simple, but every question we ask, you give us back the same answer. I did these three things. And mashallah, it's sometimes and I think about, whether people are calling us or you're having the conversation, sometimes it's just that overwhelming feeling of, I can't do this. There are too many roadblocks. There are too many things for me to climb. And it's really just those three things, right? And it's, everything that you've said so far really resonates with us. Mashallah, we see the comments on the chat as well. The next little piece that we wanted to dive into was the Black History Month for 2021. The theme is "The Future Is Now." And you mentioned that you have a daughter. I picked up on that.
Yes.
So that's your future, and I also think the future of the community. So I'm gonna I'm gonna change up the question a little bit. What do you want her to know? What do you want her to do? What would you tell her?
Okay, so you know how these kids are? They're kind of like smarter than us, definitely. So they know what they want. we only assist them and guide them in what they want to do. So and they look at us. Honestly, there was a time my son's teacher reached out to me that my son wrote was it like a poem or something about someone that inspires you, someone, and it happened to be me. And I was wow. And you said everything. My mom is this, my mom is that, my mom is so, they are a reason why most times I do what I do. I try not to get tired, even though, many times I get tired. I really sincerely get tired. And because I have some wins, doesn't mean that there have not been times that I really feel so down. I mean, I don't really want to say this, but there are some times that I've actually had to drive to the burial ground, and I just go to meet my husband there, and I just sit and I just look at like, how did I get here? Like, how did everything? Why do I? And then I go over all that again. I have my moods also, so many times, some things will just happen. It's maybe the minutest thing that shouldn't really trigger you, but it's gonna trigger you. And I have, but my kids really, they are like one of the reasons why I do most of the things I do. I want them to have, because I don't have a lot of memory of their father. I want them to have a good memory of me, and I see them as individuals that will grow up to shape the society. If they look at me as a mom that sits at home, depends only on government support and things like that, what am I building to the society? I'm going to be building individuals that the society does not want. So I have to see them and I have to groom them to believe that, yes, you can do this and you can do that. And I feel me, even though it's sometimes like faking that strength, I think it shows on them. So it doesn't make them also cry or feel so bad. By the way, I'm very so much attached to my husband. We're very, very close. We're like best friends. So it was so hard for me. But and even the kids too. But I wanted my kids to see and know that whatever happens from Allah, and then Allah can really take care of them. So they are like a kind of strong motivation for me. And my daughter, she's a very strong little woman right now, and she sees everything. She's one of my staff. you know, she gives me the tag when I'm making the dresses, so she sees all these things, and
Yeah.
I hope she grows up and have the memory that, oh, my mom used to be this and does this, and that shapes her also for the future.
But yeah, you mentioned something that I want to tap into a little bit. You said you two get tired, and this is something that, and we're going to talk a lot about this next week, inshallah. We have another session talking about mental health, and specifically related to the Black Muslim community. But I want to go back to what it is to be tired, because I think, as a mental health organization, we have to tap into that a little bit. And I'm going to ask you, what do you do for self-care?
I take out time sometimes. Sometimes I just sleep. I eat.
Mm-hmm.
I watch good movies.
Yep.
So I try to go to the gym very well. And I have some specific friends that I actually call. We talk, we do all those things, we do video calls. Then sometimes once in a while, when I have the money, I take the kids to Niagara, we stay there for like 2 days. I try to take care of myself because I have to be well. I always tell myself all the time that I can't afford to fall sick, because once I'm sick, I'm like the system. So I have to wake up every day to take them to school, even if I won't do anything. So I can't afford to be sick. I can't afford to be unwell. So when I get tired, I try to stop myself, pause, and just take the break.
I'm really grateful that you shared that, because I think, it's an important part of the conversation. We talk a lot about all of the things that we've overcome. We talk a lot about, where you've started and where you are now, and the mashallah, the business and the NGO that you run. And it's not without saying that the human side is that I do get tired, right? And I'm going to take a few tips from you. So, rest, relax, community, rely on those friends, take a break, go out and give yourself that break. And I hope our viewers tonight are taking note of that as well, because it's an unrealistic ask to think that women that accomplish so much don't get tired too, don't have setbacks, don't overcome, don't you shared, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. But in all of your accomplishments, you've always shared that you also share that you drop into the cemetery to have a chat, right? And I think it's a piece of all of the pieces that make us who we are. And I'm truly grateful that you've shared all of those pieces with us tonight, inshallah, because it's really important, whether for those that are listening, whether because I listen to, the calls that are coming in, you hear them in times of distress, right? And it's this journey that we're continuing on. And I'm glad that you shared all of the pieces of this journey. I'm truly grateful to that. But yeah, thanks so much for sharing that.
My pleasure.
Mashallah, those were actually great points mentioned, and very powerful words too, along with the steps and the self care. Sleep is. I'm gonna take that one. I needed someone to tell me to sleep more, so I'll take that one with me. Um, my question would be honestly, so if you could go back with time, so what would you change in your journey? What is something? Was there anything that you felt like maybe if it there was a different path, or are you just happy with Alhamdulillah how everything worked out?
Well, um, well, I can say that one thing that I thought that I should have done was entrepreneurship. I feel I should have started earlier in a more organized way, like under the mentorship of someone, a successful entrepreneur, and studied for long. So regardless of what we want to become, like I always tell my kids, you want to be a doctor, you want to be this, you want to be that. I want them to have like a spirit of entrepreneurship in them and learn under someone that is successful. It is very, very important because I see entrepreneurship in a different light, a way and beyond making money. It's like impacting other people's life. If you do your business well, you'll be employing other people. So you are like a source, you're going to be creating like a source of income for other people. So imagine assuming you don't take that leap, to do that. It's like you're gonna be holding on to someone else's destiny. So I allow my kids to watch what I do now, even though it's not like I'm a great entrepreneur, but when they get a little bit older, regardless of what they want to do, I want them to like understudy or be under the mentorship of someone that is a successful entrepreneur and watch them closely. That is one thing that I wish that I had done like when I was much younger and not just studying and going to school and learning all the while. I wish I had that practical touch. Every
Very
other thing.
empowering. It's very
Yeah,
empowering, mashallah. Actually, sorry, Suze, I just have one
no,
more
go for it,
question
Leka.
following up. One more question following up on that. Considering that you try and show that image to your children. Is there anything in specific with how you raise them? Anything that reminds them to kind of maintain that self-empowerment into growing it? Are there things that you infuse in the way that you raise your kids, basically, for that?
So Alhamdulillah, Islam is like a gift. It's a gift to the world. We have all what we need to know in Islam, and the stories of the prophets, in the guidance. I allow my kids read. So I'm not the mom that is so particular about they have to memorize all the Quran one time or things like that. No. I actually focus more on them drawing out the morals and living, learning. The story of Yusuf has a lot of lessons in it. The story of Khadija has a lot of lessons in it. I let them see that these people were human beings like us, and they lived like even maybe harder life than we are living right now. There is a lot of morals for them, and I stress on morals a lot. I stress on morals a lot for my kids. So I don't want them to just have this image of, oh, I'm a Muslim and the physical appearance. I want them to be a Muslim in terms of their morals and behavior. I remind them all the time because when we moved into Canada, we did the first people that we had contact with were not Muslims. And we came at the point where we were so much in need. My husband was in pain. We met Jews and we met Christians. The first love, care, support that I got were from Jews and Christians that saw me using hijab and still helped me. The first set of friends I made were not Muslims. As a matter of fact, it was when my husband died in the hospital that the doctors reached out to the Muslim community for the burial. So that was when I started meeting the Muslims there. So I remind my kids of that all the time and teach them to be fair and kind to everybody, regardless of their religion. Our religion show tells us this. And the Prophet ﷺ also does this a lot. So I try to infuse this into them and make them know, caring for humanity, it's of great importance, because I can't imagine if I didn't have the support that I had when I got here. I can't even imagine. So I think that answers it.
We're humans first, and I think it's something that we, even at my home, I think it's something that you want to remind your children, right? Like, we're humans first, and it's the foundation of being Muslim, is being human first, irrespective of the, respecting other religions. And then I even go back to one of the first friends or the first person that I connected with on a friend level was a Hindu person when I came as a new immigrant, right? So, you're not always going to meet Muslim people in this. You're going to meet the kindness, of strangers, and they're going to have different religions, and that's going to help you grow as well, because it's unrealistic for us to live alone, and that's really pivotal in all of our journeys. You mentioned a little bit about your mentorship and the value of mentorship. um, and then I also see here that you do have a small NGO that you run for widowed women. So tell us a little bit about that, because it seems that, the value of mentorship, you've already kicked it off in some form, and you're giving that back to your community, to our community. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, thank you. So it's still a small organization. I wish it's going to like grow so big. So a few months into widowhood, I had a lot of questions. I had a lot of concerns. I and when something like that happens to you, and you don't have someone to turn to in your family. None of my siblings are widows or widower. Among my friends, alhamdulillah, most of them are married. You kind of sometimes feel so lonely. You have so many questions they cannot answer because they can never understand. So I browse online, I check online, widow this, widow that, what can widow do? I had so many questions. I needed a lot of help. So I was introduced to a group called Bereaved Families of Ontario. So I went there, and what that group does is bring people that have lost their spouses together and the kids to meet occasionally, so the kids see themselves, and we talk about things. It's a non-religious group, so it's everybody regardless of where you come. But as a Muslim, I have a lot of questions that I had, and I needed someone to tell me. As a young widow, I mean, I lost my husband. I was still young, I was in my mid-30s, and I had so many questions. Okay, what do I do when I have sexual urge? What should I do? How do I take care of my kids? How do I take care of myself? So many questions. So anytime I ask people and I hear that, oh, there is a widow, I quickly reach out to the person. I call the person, share experiences with her. So after a while, I just told myself, I said, why can't I just start something myself and make it open to people, like a support group? Let them feel free to ask questions, get guidance, direction. Some women have a lot of problem apart from the personal problems that they have. Like back home, a lot of women even have a problem with in-laws, with people, with families taking over the husband's property, with so many issues. You're a widow, you already have that baggage on your shoulders. And now the society is now so hostile to you. So that was why I started that little group. I created it on Telegram and on Facebook. So we meet once in a while, have Zoom meetings, share writings, reach along the line. We do give financial support for people that really need it. But the main focus and aim is like the mental support that we give to sisters, and creating a safe haven for them to share their story and get the right advice on how to continue on the journey.
Thanks so much for sharing that,
Yeah.
Mutiat. I'm really glad to know that you started it, because I think, you know, a lot of times we say, oh, this is important, the community is missing this, the community is missing this. You've gone through the experience, and then go for it, right? Like, alhamdulillah, I'm grateful that you've started that work.
That is definitely amazing, mashallah. I see, and I believe it was called Widow's Might, the name of the group, and I think it will be shared on our Facebook as well. Um, yeah, I think honestly, mashallah, that's, that's again, like Shaliza said, a lot of times we see things that, I wish this was there, I wish this was there, but we're just kind of waiting for other people to do it. And it's beautiful that, you initiated that yourself. That was a great way. So what are some final thoughts you'd like to share for the viewers today? I know there were so many tips, like Shaliza again touched up on, kind of getting a better community, remember relying on Allah. But what are some final thoughts and tips that you would like to share with the viewers?
Um, as much as you receive, give more. Give of yourself, give of your wealth, give of your experience. Sometimes, like I feel I don't know much, but what you have, a lot of people want it. So share, share, share. Focus on yourself a lot, on yourself. Work so much on yourself. Strive for excellence. That's what I tell myself all the time. When you strive for excellence and when you achieve that excellence, people see beyond your physical, your race, they see beyond it. And try to safeguard your mental health. You cannot please everybody. Everyone will have a different version of you. Some people will see you as a very wonderful person. Some people will see you as a very harsh face. But you know what? Just be you. Just keep going, trusting in Allah, doing what you know how to do, and just avoid getting distracted as much as you can. Make yourself happy. Make yourself the priority all the time. Be selfish about yourself while not hurting others, but take good care of yourself. That is very important. So yeah.
Thanks for that, Mutiat. I'm truly grateful to be in your company tonight. What an enlightening conversation. I'm really glad that you took the time from your very busy schedule to connect with us. I don't know if there's anything else that I can say that, other than you've inspired me. And I hope that, anybody else that was listening tonight, inshallah, or later on is inspired as well. And I am truly grateful that you've shared that with us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
MashaAllah, thank you, Sister Mutiat, again for all the knowledge. Very helpful, very informative. Great tips. I know I realize that a lot of it is just really just kind of believing and really pushing to do your best. There's no superpower that, one of us is missing. It's really something all about, it's really all about your own determination and pushing towards for the best. And thank you everyone for joining in today. A gentle reminder for all our sisters, we are a nonprofit organization. We're here to assist Muslim women across North America by providing free, anonymous, confidential, and non-judgmental peer-to-peer counseling. Our services are available 12 hours a day and 7 days a week, along with also Sister Mutiat's Facebook group and Telegram group, Widow's Might. It is shared on the Facebook, or it will be shared on our Facebook as well, inshallah. Thank you everyone for joining in.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for having me.